I think his skin's gonna be good, but his meat won't be good. Bad luck, just bad luck, no luck at all. When either one of us get out the boat, things get crazy real quick. I don't want my husband to get hurt. I get mad at myself, I get mad at him. It's very stressful.
There was a time when the Louisiana swamps echoed with the sound of gunfire, laughter, and the unmistakable voice of a woman who refused to be overlooked. Fans knew her as Gator Queen Liz, a fearless hunter who stepped into one of the most dangerous professions on Earth and turned it into her legacy. On Swamp People, she wasn't just another cast member trying to survive the brutal alligator season. She was a force of nature, a woman who stood shoulder to shoulder with veteran hunters and earned respect through grit, precision, and relentless determination. But while millions of viewers admired her strength, very few understood the emotional battles unfolding behind the scenes. Beyond the tough exterior was a woman carrying grief, pressure, and the heavy weight of sudden fame. Over time, those unseen struggles began to shape a journey far more painful than any dangerous hunt. And as her presence on television slowly faded, fans were left wondering what really happened to the fearless hunter they once saw dominating the swamp. To understand the heartbreak that followed, you have to go back to where her story began, deep in the waters and traditions of Louisiana, where Liz Cavalier's connection to the swamp wasn't a career choice, it was her identity. Long before reality television cameras arrived, Liz grew up surrounded by the raw beauty and harsh realities of bayou life. Hunting wasn't entertainment. It was survival, culture, and family tradition passed down through generations. Her father played a central role in shaping who she would become. He wasn't just a parent. He was her mentor, her teacher, and her partner in a world that demanded courage and respect for nature. From a young age, she learned the rhythms of the swamp, when to wait patiently, when to strike quickly, and when to step back and respect the power of the creatures around her. These lessons didn't just make her a skilled hunter, they built a deep emotional bond between father and daughter. The swamp became their shared language, a place where trust and resilience were forged through real experiences rather than words. Years later, when Liz first appeared on Swamp People, audiences were introduced to someone who didn't fit the typical reality TV mold. She wasn't flashy or overly polished. She was authentic, blunt, hardworking, and unapologetically herself. Joining Troy Landry's crew, she quickly proved she wasn't there for showmanship alone. Her skill with a rifle and her calm demeanor during high-pressure hunts captured viewers' attention almost immediately. Fans appreciated her humor and strong personality, but what truly made her stand out was her loyalty to her team and her respect for the traditions of the swamp. As episodes aired, her fan base grew rapidly. Social media buzzed with admiration, and the nickname Gator Queen Liz began spreading among viewers who saw her as a pioneer, a woman thriving in an environment many believed was reserved for men. But admiration didn't come without criticism. Some skeptics questioned whether she could handle the physical and emotional demands of alligator hunting long-term. Others suggested she was chosen for entertainment value rather than real expertise. Instead of engaging in arguments, Liz responded the only way she knew how, by proving herself through action. Season after season, she demonstrated sharp instincts, precise shooting skills, and leadership that silenced many of her critics. Her rise on the show wasn't just about personal success. It represented something larger, a shift in how audiences perceived women in extreme professions. As she began leading hunts and taking on greater responsibility, she inspired viewers who saw her as a symbol of strength and independence. For many women watching at home, she became proof that determination could break through even the most deeply rooted stereotypes. One of the most powerful moments in her journey came when her daughter joined her on the show. Their partnership added a new layer to her story. Not only was she a hunter, but also a mentor and a mother passing on traditions to the next generation. Their on-screen dynamic showcased a rare blend of tenderness and toughness, capturing the emotional side of swamp life that audiences rarely saw. Yet, while the public image of Liz Cavalier continued to grow stronger, life behind the cameras was becoming increasingly complicated. As Swamp People gained popularity, her responsibilities extended far beyond the swamp. Interviews, fan events, promotional appearances, and the constant presence of production crews began to reshape her everyday life. The authenticity that once defined her started feeling overshadowed by expectations to maintain a larger-than-life persona. Fame can be intoxicating, but it can also be exhausting. For Liz, the line between her real identity and the Gator Queen image became increasingly blurred. Viewers saw confidence and humor, but few realized how overwhelming the pressure had become. Every season brought new challenges, not only from dangerous hunts, but also from the demands of reality television itself. Rumors of tension behind the scenes slowly began to circulate. Reports suggested disagreements over contracts and creative direction, while the show's producers focused on evolving storylines and introducing new personalities. As the environment changed, relationships within the cast and production team grew more strained. Liz's fiercely independent nature sometimes clashed with the direction the show was taking, creating an undercurrent of frustration that viewers rarely noticed. Despite the growing pressure, she continued to push forward, balancing the demands of fame with her loyalty to family and tradition. But then came a devastating loss that would change everything. The passing of her father, the man who had taught her everything about the swamp, left an emotional void that no amount of success could fill. Grief has a way of reshaping a person quietly. To the outside world, Liz appeared as strong as ever, continuing her work and maintaining her tough reputation. But those closest to her noticed subtle changes. She became more reserved, more introspective, and more protective of her personal life. The swamp that once felt like home began to carry echoes of memories that were both comforting and painful. Fans saw glimpses of her honoring her father's legacy through her hunts and traditions, but they didn't witness the private moments of loss that followed her long after the cameras stopped recording. For Liz, every trip into the bayou carried reminders of the bond they once shared. Lessons learned at sunrise, stories told around campfires, and the unspoken connection that defined her early life. As the seasons continued, the emotional weight she carried began to intersect with growing tensions within the show itself. Changes in casting and production decisions created uncertainty about her future on Swamp People. Whispers of contract disputes and creative disagreements grew louder, leaving fans uncertain about what was happening behind the scenes. Then came one of the most shocking moments in her career, a sudden shift that would alter her life both personally and professionally. Her departure from the show marked the end of an era for many viewers who had come to see her as one of its strongest and most authentic voices. When Liz Cavalier's time on Swamp People came to an abrupt halt, the change wasn't just professional. For years, the show had given structure to her life. Each season meant purpose, teamwork, and a connection to millions of fans who admired her strength. But once the cameras stopped rolling, the silence felt louder than any swamp at dawn. The sudden loss of that platform created a void she hadn't anticipated. The routine that once defined her days disappeared almost overnight. No filming schedules, no fan conventions, no adrenaline-filled hunts broadcast to the world. Instead, she found herself navigating an uncertain future while still grieving the loss of her father, the man who had been her emotional anchor for decades. Financial pressures reportedly added to the strain. Reality television can create the illusion of long-term security, but when the spotlight fades, many stars face difficult adjustments. Without the consistent income and exposure from the show, Liz had to reevaluate her lifestyle and priorities. That transition from public figure to private citizen weighed heavily on someone whose identity had become intertwined with the Gator Queen persona. Behind closed doors, she began wrestling with emotions that few fans ever imagined she carried. Anxiety, self-doubt, and a deep sense of loss crept into her daily life. For someone known for her fearless attitude on screen, admitting vulnerability felt like stepping into unfamiliar territory. Yet, in quiet moments and occasional social media posts, she hinted at the challenges she was facing. A rare glimpse into the struggles hidden beneath her strong exterior. Health concerns also surfaced during this period, further complicating her recovery. Physical setbacks, combined with emotional exhaustion, forced her to slow down and reevaluate what truly mattered. The intense pace of her previous life was no longer sustainable, and she began retreating from public appearances to focus on healing. Family relationships were also tested during this time. The shared experience of leaving the show meant that everyone in her inner circle had to adjust to new roles and expectations. Without the constant distraction of filming, unresolved tensions and grief sometimes surfaced. Yet despite the difficulties, her commitment to her loved ones remained a guiding force, reminding her of the values she had carried since childhood. As months turned into years, Liz gradually withdrew from the public spotlight. Her once frequent online updates became rare, replaced by long stretches of silence that worried fans. Some speculated she had retired from public life entirely, while others believed she was simply taking time to rediscover herself away from the pressure of fame. During this quieter chapter, she began focusing on small, meaningful routines, cooking traditional Cajun meals, fishing in peaceful waters, and reconnecting with the culture that had shaped her long before television entered her life. These simple acts became a form of therapy, allowing her to find stability in traditions that felt genuine and grounding. Occasionally, she reappeared on social media, sharing glimpses of her life in a more personal and reflective tone. The fearless hunter audiences once knew was still there, but now she seemed more introspective, a woman shaped by both triumph and heartbreak. Those rare posts reassured fans that she was still connected to the swamp and the lifestyle she loved, even if she chose to keep her distance from public attention. Her brief return to Swamp People years later sparked hope among viewers who longed to see her reclaim the spotlight. But those who watched closely noticed subtle changes. While her skill and presence remained undeniable, she carried a quieter energy, one that suggested the emotional toll of her past experiences had left lasting marks. Instead of fully re-entering the world of television, Liz appeared to choose a different path. She embraced a life defined by personal peace rather than public recognition. Community involvement, mentoring younger hunters, and preserving swamp traditions became central to her sense of purpose. Away from the noise of reality TV, she found fulfillment in helping others learn the values her father had once taught her. Fans who had followed her journey for years began to see a new side of her, not just the fierce hunter, but a resilient woman rebuilding her life on her own terms. Though she no longer dominated television screens, her influence remained strong. Many aspiring female hunters credited her as an inspiration, citing her courage as proof that women could thrive in spaces once considered off-limits. Her legacy extended beyond entertainment. She became a symbol of perseverance, representing the emotional reality behind reality television fame. While viewers often celebrate the excitement of on-screen adventures, her story highlighted the hidden challenges that can follow once the spotlight fades. In recent years, she has largely embraced a quieter existence, occasionally sharing moments from her life, but avoiding the intense public scrutiny that once defined her career. To some fans, this absence felt bittersweet, a reminder that even the strongest personalities sometimes need space to heal and grow. Yet her story is far from one of defeat. Instead, it's a testament to resilience. She faced grief, career upheaval, public pressure, and deeply personal struggles, and still found a way to redefine her identity beyond the expectations placed on her. The swamp that once introduced her to millions remains a part of her life, but now it represents peace rather than performance. Today, reruns of Swamp People continue to introduce new audiences to the fearless hunter who broke barriers and earned respect through hard work. Longtime fans still discuss her most memorable moments, the intense hunts, the humor she brought to tense situations, and the strength she displayed in a world that wasn't always welcoming. More importantly, her impact lives on through the people she inspired. Women entering the world of alligator hunting and outdoor professions often cite her as proof that passion and perseverance can overcome doubt. Her story helps shift perceptions, encouraging new generations to pursue paths they once believed were impossible. Looking back, Liz Cavalier's journey is more than a television narrative. It's a story of identity, loss, and the courage to rebuild when life takes unexpected turns. She may have stepped away from the constant glare of cameras, but the legacy she created continues to ripple through the swamp and beyond. The heartbreaking chapters of her life never erased the strength that made her a legend. Instead, they revealed the human side of someone audiences once saw as invincible. A reminder that even the toughest warriors face battles the world may never fully see. And perhaps that's the most powerful part of her story. Behind the title of Gator Queen stands a woman who endured heartbreak, navigated change, and ultimately chose a life defined by peace, family, and authenticity. So now we turn the question to you. What do you remember most about Liz Cavalier's time on Swamp People? Do you think reality television truly supports its stars after the cameras stop rolling? Or does it leave them to face the hardest battles alone? And if she ever returned to the swamp on screen again, would it be a triumphant comeback? Or is her legacy already complete? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the next heartbreaking journey waiting for you right here.